Hello, it's time again, 5:30 to get ourselves moving. I'm just finishing up setting up online. I won't be a moment. I think that's sorted. Hello, Judith, Roxanne. You ready to wiggle? Great. Excellent. Have you got your chairs, tins and worktop if necessary? If you don't know me, I'm Caroline. I'm Stonehenge Osteopath. I'm going through some exercises suitable for older people who need to take things a bit more easier than like HIIT training or anything too fast, aggressive. These exercises are standing or sitting, whichever level you feel you're at. In the next coming weeks, I'm going to start introducing exercises using these. I don't know if you've seen them. They're resistance bands. The big stretchy bands. There's a lot of uses for exercise we can do for help building up strength. They just give a bit more flexibility to the range of exercises I can put people through, more than just tins. So tins are quite useful. There's a lot of exercise you can do with them, but the bands just incorporate more muscle groups. So have a think about whether you've got anything like that lying about at home or whether you look at investing into some. So let's get started. So tonight again we're going to go through sort of an all over body strength and flexibility session. I will show the exercises sitting and standing. I will start off sitting, so if you want to carry on when I stand up, you carry on. Obviously you're not competing with me, so anything you're seeing that I'm doing that you think, oh, I can't do that, or my range of movement is not as good as that, I certainly don't have the best range of movement, but don't worry about it, we will get there in the end. So just being up and moving is already lapping the people sitting on the sofa. So let's get started. Right, so get the chair out of the way. So, no, leave my chair, what am I talking about? So starting off sitting, hands just placed on your hips. So if you're sitting, we're just going to get things moving. So you're just getting your upper back and your body moving. If twisting is something that you're a bit concerned about or gives you a bit of discomfort, introduce a bit more side bending rather than the twisting. A good mix of both is fine. So keep doing those if you're doing the sitting version. If you're doing standing, hands on your hips, and you're really just looking around you. Take your head with you, take your shoulders around. You're just getting that movement going through that thoracic spine. Okay, you do a bit side bending. Starts bringing in the lumbar spine a bit more when you start doing the side bending. Get things moving. If you struggle with balance issues or a bit of dizziness or whatever, please take a seat and do the exercises. You can, or mix between the two. So now I'm just going to get you to bring your shoulders in and back. Let's get those shoulder blades and shoulder joints moving. You can do this whilst you're sat as well. So just shrugging your shoulders forward and backwards. Really get your upper back into it so you're stretching through. Okay, so back to sitting. So sitting, we're going to do same arm, opposite arm to opposite leg. So just reaching up. Hello, Stuart. Oh, Mum, see you there. Opposite arm to opposite leg. What are you doing, Roxanne? Oh, eating too much cake. Great. You need to get moving then, my lovely. Let's get the arms and legs going. So this is a nice exercise for eating too much cake. Get those muscles in the torso working. Get some strength going on. It takes a bit of effort to lift your arms above your head, to lift your legs. Okay, so carry on doing that sitting if you need to do it sitting, and if you want to do it standing, put that bit more effort in. So Rox, I know who you are, so I'm expecting you to be stood up doing this. Really get your knees as high as you comfortably can, get your arms moving so you're exaggerated marching on the spot. Lovely, so you probably feel a little bit going into breathless. I don't mean breathlessness, but just breathing a bit heavier, heart rate's coming up and getting a bit warm. Lovely, so shake it all out, get the blood to calm down. Now we're going to do sit to stand, which are a bit like mini squats. You're going to have your chair situated so you can perch your bottom on the edge of it. So if you need to, you are very welcome to do a glancing push off your thighs if you need to. If you want to, so that's fine. So you carry on doing that if that's what you need to do. If you feel a bit more like you want to challenge, hands across the chest, and then as you lift, you're just reaching out and sitting back down. Reaching out, sitting back down. Rox, are you still making comments? I can't read them until I finish. Can't see. Sitting, standing. So a little bit of tension through your lower tummy. Contracting your bottom, your buttock muscles on standing. So what we're working here is lower abs, lower tummy muscles, bottom and thighs. It's a nice big muscle group to get going. Good calorie burner. Okay, so I would be aiming for 10 and maybe 2 sets of 10. So you might take a break, let everything calm down, blood come away from the heart a little bit and relax, and then you might carry on and do another 10, or you might do a circuit of the lot and do 10 reps of each and then come back and start again, if that makes sense. So, chair, leg abductions, standing with the chair side on so you can see. I'm going to stand with the chair for my support, but nice and tall, all my weight through my right leg. I'm going to lift my leg out to the side. We're just working this muscle group on the side of your buttock, down the side of the leg. Okay, it's a bit like ballet, if I was that elegant. Just lifting a little bit of tension through your lower tummy, nice and tall. Use the chair for balance. You can make this move as slow or as quick as you like. If it's too much to not touch the floor too much, then linger, just hesitate and then lift. You may find you need that little pause just to build up your strength. So again, I'll be aiming for 10. Okay, so we turn side on. Standing back of the chair. Same again, stood on my left leg, nice and tall, tension through my lower tummy, lifting leg to the side. So the great thing about strength training is it can play a big part in normalising your blood pressure. So if you're on medication for that, a good consistent workout using working on muscle tone, muscle development is good for helping that medication give you a much more normal blood pressure. I'm just going to turn around, we're going to do a slightly different exercise. I think I've done something wrong on my screen. Bear with me, sorry. Apologising again. I think I've frozen. Judith was telling me about it freezing. I think I've frozen now. So, standing nice and tall, tension through lower abs, body upright, bending your leg, just pushing your leg behind you so you're really working the buttock muscle and the top of the hamstring. Okay. This also encourages range of movement through your hip. Often if you feel a bit of stiffness through your hip from sitting a lot or strong exercise when you're younger or driving a lot, sometimes getting your knee behind your body can be quite difficult. So this sort of movement not only encourages strength and toning in these muscles, but allows your whole hip joint to be lubricated and encourage that full range of movement, because ideally your knee should come behind your body and your body's still. A lot of people find they end up arching their back to do it. That's why I want you to hold your lower tummy muscles a little bit tight to keep your spine neutral, so it's flat here and the movement coming from your bottom and the hip. And I'm going to turn to face the other way. So again, bend your knee, lower abs a little bit tight, bringing your knee back. Also, strength training can help reduce insulin resistance. So if anybody has blood sugar issues like diabetes, type 2 diabetes and on medication, bit of strength training on a regular basis can help your body be more sensitive to the medication, helps get that sugar out of the bloodstream. you'd obviously be allowing for in what you eat. Okay, so again, nice intent, nice work through your bottom, lower abs tight so your spine is flattish and you're not arching through your back to get that movement. That is not what I want. I want the movement to come from your hip. Okay, so I'm getting cramp my hamstrings, so probably best move on. So we're going to do some exercises with the tins. Grab your weights, dumbbells if you've got them, that's fantastic. Tins if you haven't, or no weights if the tins are a bit too much for you at this stage. 2 tins, you're going to be leaning forward ever so slightly and your back flat. I'm just going to pull the blind on that window. The sun's in the perfect place to blind me. So sitting, I'm going to sit face sideways so you can see a little bit of leaning forward, tins but down by your calves, and just bending your elbows to bring your tins up to your shoulder. So facing you. I am stood up. Good. Well done. So if you're doing this sitting, you carry on. Just doing this nice controlled movement, a little bit of tension through your lower abdominals. If you're doing this standing, which a few of you I hope are, feet nice and wide, good shoulder width apart, a little bit of forward bend through your hips, not your back, so you're not slumping forward, you're leaning forward from the hips, so you're kicking your hips back a bit. Knees bent, soft knees, aerobics 1990 something. Arms straight and just bringing your tins, your weight up to your shoulder. Now if you need something a bit heavier but you haven't got dumbbells, you can put stuff in a shopping bag, pick them up, put a couple of tins in a bag and picking it up. It's to replicate that movement in actual fact. It's to get that strength through your upper back and your upper arms and grip to try and reenact the movement of lifting stuff off of chopping up off the floor or your suitcase. So 10 reps, you might do a circuit or you might have a moment where you take a breath and then repeat. Okay, so back to my chair. We're going to do elbow straightening, so we're going to be working the back of the arm. So if I'm sat side onto you, that's the movement you're going for. So you're lifting the weight up behind you. Carry on sitting if you want to do that sitting. So if you're stood, soft knees, bit of bend through the knees, flat back, bend through the hip. Fix your elbows and your arms close to your body and looking in front of you. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. So bring your chair back. So we're going to do the Woodchopper. So if you're a bit uncomfortable with too much rotation or twisting through the body, you might have a diagnosed back issue that means you can't really do that, then just sit still and just work the arms. Oh, I need one weight. Because that will still encourage muscle strengthening to hold you in that position with some rotation through your arms. If you have no problems and you know you can quite happily do the twisting, start with the bean tins or your weight by your ear and twist and take the weight down to the side and away from you and come back up. So you're really taking yourself through that full range of rotation. So what you're working is the muscles on the side of your body and pecs and back. So the muscle workings go across the body. So you've got that nice twisting action which helps work through the waist. So you keep going and then change sides, and I'll tell you when to change sides. I'm going to just do it stood. So tins up by your ear, feet at a good shoulder width apart, knees soft, and then you're just bringing the weight down and back up. And as you do that, you're squatting backwards, so you're pushing your hips back to get that movement through. So the mechanism is a kind of activated squat. Obviously, if you struggle with that but you want to do it stood, then maybe you just do like a sweeping technique through and just start introducing the squat. So you do 10 of those. If you're sitting, change sides. If you're stood, just finish your 10 and get your feet hip width, shoulder width apart, and then come to the other side. And again, knees soft. As you do the action, you're pushing your hips back. So it's a good twisting movement through your hips and your body. So you're working the chain of muscles running diagonally down your body, front and back. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Okay, great. So, that's the strength training bit out of the way. Like I said, the next few weeks I'm going to start introducing resistance bands. So if you get an opportunity to buy some, if you haven't got some, then that'd be great if you could pick them up. So we're going to move on to stretching. Actually, I've finished doing the bridge, sorry. I'm just going to move the orientation of the camera. So we're just going to finish with the bridge of the strength side of things, and then move on to stretching. So on your bed or on the floor, have your feet about hip width apart, flat on the floor, backs of your hands on the carpet, so you're not tempted to push with your hands. And what you're basically doing is pushing your hips to the ceiling. So you're peeling your back off the floor, a little bit of tension through your lower tummy, and you're tightening your buttocks as you do it. So you're peeling your back, lifting up, bum should be tight, so lower tummy muscles should be tight. Hesitate and then put yourself back to the floor. I would aim for 5 good bridges. So peel yourself up, hesitate, tension through your tummy, bottom tight, and then put yourself back. And then again, peel yourself up, tight bottom, lower abs, and then relax back down. So I think that's 3. So bridges are great for low back, gluteal strengthening, so which also helps with the hips. Can be good if you get knee problems but you need to strengthen the muscles around the knee. There's a whole multitude of things a bridge is good for. Core stability, proprioception, so you get a good balance. Your body has to work really hard to know where everything is because you're kind of hovering in space. So I think that's 5. Bridging, though, is more about the technique, not so much about how many you do. Good technique is the priority. Okay, so moving on from strength training, we're going to go to do some stretching, which is lovely for flexibility, keep those joints well lubricated, get some synovial fluid over the joint surface. We're going to stretch out the low back and the back of the hips. So straighten one leg out and bring the knee up to your chest. You may feel moderately, you might just have a moment of, oh, that's a bit tight, it's a bit uncomfortable. Just hold for a moment and see if your back relaxes into it. And if it does, that's fine. If it doesn't, you might just want to take the stretch off a little bit. Okay, and you're just holding it for 15, 20 seconds. And you're going to keep your leg there and hold on to it and bring the other knee up and then change. And then just let your back relax into it. You may find you can move it a bit further. So this will also help with flexibility through the hip as well as stretching out the low back. If you feel you can, then you might bring both knees up and really stretch your low back. Some people find that quite uncomfortable, especially if they've got some limited range of movement on one side more than the other. And put your feet back on the floor. We're going to really focus on the low back rather than just the hip, so a bit of stretching out through the back. 2 ways of doing this again, so you can have one leg straight, let your knee roll over and take the weight across, so your weight of your leg is stretching through your low back. You just have everything else facing the ceiling, and that might be enough for you. If it isn't and you want a bit more, then you keep both knees together, Keep them stacked, one on top of the other. Let your weight of your knees hold you there. Stick your arms out to the side and then turn your head to face the opposite direction. And that will put a stretch all the way through the spine up into the ribs even. Hold it for 15-20 seconds or so. Come back up. Go to the other side. And what I haven't often not remembered to say at the beginning, but I do say on every video, is that these exercises should never create a problem. They might highlight a problem you already have and therefore you become aware of symptoms. If that's the case, then you stop the exercise. If you get any new symptoms, please don't hesitate to contact me. If you feel you want to have a chat through what's going on, info@stonehengeosteopath.co.uk. But you shouldn't get any problems with these exercises particularly. But if you get uncomfortable, get any new symptoms, or they do provoke any pain, then please hold off. We'll have a chat and see what's going on. Hello Mossy. Hello Jace. So last stretch, we're just going to stretch out through the chest, hands on the back of the pelvis, bringing your elbows together to meet behind you. You should feel a stretch across the front of the chest. If you've just joined me, you might want to watch this, re-watch it to get the strength bit. Okay, so bringing the chair over, we're going to use this for the balancing part. So if you have no problems with balance, so if you can bring your feet together, hands across your chest, and you stand still and sturdy, then you'll probably be fine with these exercises. If you find you struggle with that, then either continue to work on improving that level of balance, or try standing one foot in front of the other towards the chair and just having light touch on the back of the chair. If you're fine with those both and they're not particularly challenging for you, then this one-legged exercise should be fine. So standing on one leg, lift your other leg. So I'm standing on my right, lifting my left. Chair's there for support, light touch, nice and tall, a little bit of tension through your lower abs. And what you can do is either that's enough, and you may find you're a bit checking the chairs there all the time. If you feel you can go further than that, then lift your hands and just see what happens. Proprioception or balance improves over time quite quickly, so you may find you start off quite wobbly, but the more you do it, the more often, you'll probably notice within a couple of weeks your balance improves. So changing legs, standing nice and tall, tension through your lower abs, check the chairs there, and either that's the level at which you want to stay for a moment, or you lift your hands and test it. Okay, you're aiming to build that level up, so it may be you start off with a couple of seconds, but you might be aiming for 30 seconds. Adding on to that, we're going to just do a bit of demand on telling the brain where the rest of the body is in space. So standing on one leg, I'm going to lift my right leg. You're going to have a little bit of tension through your lower abs. You're going to kick your hip out, so you're just dropping your hip down to the side and sticking that one out. Then the exercise is bringing that hip back up. If you have to hold on, have light touch. If you can do it without, then just do the exercise without, which is, it depends on how much challenge you need. But the point of this is it's working these muscles, it's working all your hip muscles and balance at the same time. So change feet. Again, you know, like the bridge, you only need to do probably 5 of these. It's just to wake up those systems in the body. Kick your hip out, tension through your lower tummy, lift your hip. Drop it down, lift it. This is a good one for people who are walking or running, because if you can't stand on one leg, you'll struggle with, your body has to work harder for you to walk any length of distance. So the more tired you get, the more demand you're making on your muscles through your body. And that's emphasised even more if you are a runner. So the more you work on this kind of area through here, the stronger you are when you do run, because when you run or walk, because when you walk, you're on one foot all the time. When you run, you're on one foot in the air and then landing. So these are quite useful exercises for building up stamina in the muscle system. So I hope you've enjoyed today. Like I said, please think about getting some elastic resistance bands for future classes. I will warn you when they're coming up. If you liked what I've done, please like it. If you know of anybody it might be useful for, any older people, please share it. And if you have any questions, email me info@stonehengeosteopath.co.uk. Thank you.